Hi everyone, it's Jules by Jude here. Excuse me. And I'm going to show you how to make a pen today with polymer clay, or at least line a pen with polymer clay. Here's my blank, it's a Bic. Here's an example of the pen itself. Here's a fat version of the pen. And we're going to use this blank and we're going to put a veneer on it. So this is what I'm going to use to bake with. Okay, and what I'm going to use, well, this was the end of one of my canes, but the last video I did, it did not seem to be in focus, so we're trying again here. So what I'm going to do is twist this, okay, and this is my paper. I'm going to push this back just a little bit because we are going to use what's on that paper. Now I'm going to make this into a veneer. I'm going to have to change this. We're going to start with the thickest first. Okay. I don't really go through everything that I use, but if you ever have any questions, please let me know. The bead tray, the tissue blade, some pliers, some Bic blanks, and pasta machine, and some scrap clay that used to be a cane. So I'm going to run this through a couple times just so you get an idea. Now obviously that's not going to cover the entire pen, so I'm going to continue to get this the way I would like it to be. This way it's going to cover. What you need to decide is really how thin do you want it to be. You're not going to bake this with the blank and the insert inside of it. It's just going to be the blank. It's what I'm called the blank. It's the empty pen. Okay? Now I'm going to turn this, get this a little bit thinner for you. And just to give you an idea of how you may want to work with different designs. And actually not too bad. I'm going to use my other one. I like the more distinctive lines in it. I just wanted to show you, you know, how you could do that and what you would do to get it to look like mine. In a moment you'll see. Is cut your ends like so. I'm going to do this very quickly because some of my students already know how to do that, so we're going to speed that up a little. So there you go. It just fits right in there, lengthwise. And I'm going to show you exactly how to work it from here, okay? Only on a different piece. Here we go. That fits in very nicely. I don't have to. The clay is very, 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 very soft, guys, for me right here. So I'm keeping it on the leech piece right here. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm leaving on the paper to leach it. Sorry, the phone's starting to ring. I'm a little bit disrupted. Thank you, dear. My husband got it. Hell, I'm gonna go from this very thin. This is a thin one. What I want you to do is really, really make sure you get this pushed down. Because my biggest issue personally has been the bubbles, the air bubbles. Probably if anybody knows a better way to do this to prevent the bubbles, let me know. Now I'm going to roll this over. Touch it, roll it back. It's, look how sticky my look how soft it is. It's crazy. I should put it in the freezer. Alright, but truthfully I can get through this project without worrying about it. It's just one of those projects. It doesn't require, I can work with it when it's soft anyhow, but I'm actually leaching. I don't know why it's so soft other than I live in Florida, but I turn the air down. I know you can let it set And it will also, if you just leave it alone, it will also not be as soft. And then if you leach it on paper, that works really wonders. But you usually have to wait, a couple hours at the least, or overnight. But depending on how much, softness and what you need will depend on how long you need to leach it for. But it does work. It definitely works. I've used it. I use it. Now what I'm doing is I'm sealing my crease here. Let's see if you can see it. I hope so. I hope it's in there. My husband checked it out. He said, yeah. So don't want this to be too long of a video today. So I'm going to show you the steps and talk about it. And you'll see the result of a different pen. I can show you this pen again later if you're really interested in seeing this particular color. Excuse me. Well, I think I did pretty good not getting any bubbles in there. And my seam looks pretty good too. Now you want to just take your fingers and rub gently where that seam is. And then you want to take your fingers and just check for bubbles. I feel a little bumpiness over here, but that could be from the seam. So I'm going to roll a little bit more. If you like, you can use a sandpaper to go over the pen before you apply your veneer. And I do with some and I don't with others, and this one is one I did not do. But if you sand it down, you may have a better chance of that clay actually grabbing a hold of the pen. But I'm not really having too many issues with the pen, the clay not clinging to the pen. So I haven't done that but once, and that was with different big pen that I was using. Now I'm going to cut this down, and this is where the pen tapers down. And some people don't like that taper down effect. I'm not sure why, but I use it. Some people actually have their fingers down. It's all how you write with your pens. But most people that I've actually seen their videos doing this have not tapered it. I kind of partially like that taper. And that's, let's see if I can get it. It's just a small tapered down top. And this is the back. So this is the top. Now what you make sure is that the inside of this blank is clear, because you don't want to be, once this is baked, you don't want to be breaking off the edges of this to try to get your insert back in. It's okay because you can sand this, and you will have to sand this. I don't know how you're going to get around sanding it. I know a lot of people don't like to sand, but I highly recommend that you do. And then I highly recommend that you glaze it with your favorite glaze. Okay, and I have a couple favorite glazes, so they all work fine. There's ones made by Sculpey specifically. I like to do that, as you just saw. I cut off the back, and when I did that, I have some excess. And what I'll do is I will remold that, and I will do it again. Now in this instance, I got a little too much, so I'm going to cut this little, there we go. I guess I want to cut just a tiny bit off of that. And that's flatten it out. If you left that little chunk on, you would probably have enough depth to put a crystal in there. Now you can still put a crystal in there. You can put when you're finished, you can glue one on. If you want to do it during the baking process, you can also use some liquid bake clay, and that will also act as an adhesive to adhere your Swarovski crystal. Of course, it has in my book it has to be Swarovski crystal. I love it, but it could be anything, and it does endure the heat. So does this plastic, by the way. This plastic is working great with me so far. There's one that did not work very well, and it was the hard plastic. If I don't have an example of it, because actually I don't see too many people using the hard plastic ones anymore. And to me, they're the old big plastic pens. Now this is not a disposable pen, because you can pull the ink wells inserts out of other pens and insert it in there, and I'll show you that in a second. The only other problem that I seem to have is the fact that I don't have a lid. People have asked me, yeah, I don't. But they make little pouches, or you could make a pouch that you could put your little pens in, and you can put them in your purse, because that would be the only thing that would protect your purse from your ink on your pen. If you have another suggestion on that, go ahead and let me know. Now, if you're going to sit it on your desk, you can make a pen holder out of polymer clay to match your pen, and that would also look lovely. And I have one similar, a little bit here in a second. I'll show you. Now, I don't see any bubbles. I can barely see my crease, and I think once I sand that out too, that will be gone. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I do bake it. I put it in here. This is my bead rack that I bake my beads on. And I put that on there. Of course, you can only do one at a time if you do it this way. There may be other ways of doing and baking them. This is just my one way. It does not distort the clay very much, if at all. I haven't had that issue. So I put this in my toaster oven at 150 to 200 for 20 to 30 minutes. Cold to cold. Cold oven, turn it on, and don't take it out till it's cold. And I find that it works quite well. Once I do that, I sand it. I take a little bit of sandpaper and I sand it down. I examine it very closely, clean it off very nicely. Then I put a toothpick here. This is one of those very long scores that you use for all different, so I use them for crafts, but there we go. And then you can then glaze it, let it sit. I recommend, at the very least one. It hardens the clay a little bit more. I think it glazed, it looks very, this has been glazed. This is an example. This was glazed twice. Okay, and remember, it's a utility item. It's not a piece of jewelry. So you want it to be able to drop down a couple things, you know. So I put 2 coats of glaze on. That's my recommendation. Once that's done, I take them off. If you're not going to put anything else on it, what you want to do is, this is not baked, so I'm going to bake this. I like that color. You take your insert. It should fit nicely in there. It's nice and snug. It's not completely in. And you push down. Okay? Now, it works just fine. See? Okay? So I'll show you how that comes out again. Just like this. Oh, snap. Now, what I've been doing is making these with new pens for the people I give pens to, and then you can put an insert in with your little pouch, or you could get a little box and you can put that in there, and also put an insert or two, and make sure they understand that this is not disposable. This could be used over and over again. Now, this was my first demo of my pen holder, and I just rolled myself. Hear that? It's got no glaze. It's not exactly what I would use. I just did a demo with it, but it shows how it holds your pen. So I will be making more of these to match the pens that I make. And like I said, if it's on your desk, voila. And now there's pouches for your pens otherwise. So hopefully you got a good grasp on how to do these pens. They're very easy. You could do canes and put flowers on your veneers and stuff like that. There's so much that you can do with this. It would really be nice. Now, in the upcoming video, hopefully by the end of next week, I'd like to show you how to do this bead. I do have a varnish on it, and it is what they consider a Natasha bead, and I'm still working on learning how to do these beads, and I'm hoping that I can get my act together by next week to show you all how to do it. So good luck, God bless. I hope you enjoy. If you like it, please subscribe and share. I would appreciate it. I'm starting out, and if you have any suggestions, ideas, please let me know. I did get some comments, and I do appreciate those comments, and I plan on taking those suggestions that they were given to me. So, and I appreciate that because they're seasoned YouTubers and I'm just starting out. So thank you very much. Good luck and God bless.